Laura, it's Wes Hone. You're on Kingdom Business TV.
How you going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
That's good to hear. What can I help you with?
I suppose for the last sort of, few months, I've been sort of, the idea of, in my mind about trying to become unique and sort of both stand out amongst other thousands of people who essentially draw plans and design houses. And I just thought maybe you might have a way or a technique or something that you've used in the past. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. So architect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's explore. Obviously, sometimes we can be unique by default. All right. Like I am, for example, in the business coaching world. There's probably only one that talks about God at scale, and that's me. So I'm unique by default. But if I was a plumber on the Gold Coast, for example, I'd be one of 1,000. So that's where this matters. But for example, as an architect, if I was focused on shipping container homes back in, 2000, well, maybe I was unique by default, right? Because nobody else did that, right? So I wonder, is there anything about what you're designing that makes you unique?
Okay. At this stage, no.
Okay, good. So then,
I design.
That's fine. I mean, like at the end of the day, you design things for customers. So if they pay you, you design them. So I get that. I wonder then about you as a person, you as an architect. What can we pull from that actually is unique, right? Is it, and that could be I've been doing it for the longest. I've been doing it for the shortest. It could be that I studied under some, the Michelangelo of the architect world, for a while. I wonder in your history, what could we pull from that is both commercial and unique? Have you got anything there?
Okay. I suppose, my father was a builder and things like that. So having that background has helped in a way, sort of understanding how buildings do go together and smartly and efficiently and more affordably than something, in case if you don't have that construction background, but, it's still...
Okay, so that's interesting for me, because if we can get some photos of you, right, as a young girl walking through construction sites, right, then we can storytell around this. Okay, so that's not a bad thing. So then my first thought is there anybody else that is trying to leverage that story, that we're not only architects, we're builders, therefore we understand? Is there anybody with that message in the marketplace?
Look, there's male architects who have a building license. It's out there. So it's nothing unique. Mm-hmm. But I suppose being a girl, female, it's a little different.
Okay, so what does being a girl architect mean? I mean, I've got my answer to that, but what do you think it means to be a female in the architect world?
I think for me, being female and with my clients, it's a lot easier for the relationship with the wife, the mother in the project, because at the end of the day, I find that, it's the wives, the mothers that will essentially take on the project between essentially a couple. Mm-hmm. And I feel that is part of the reason why I end up getting jobs, is because of, women having confidence and sort of having that reassurance that they can to another woman and get it. Mm-hmm. And
Okay.
So I find that's been common lately.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. My first thought, right, when it comes to your marketing angle of being unique, is I'm a female with far more attention to detail, because that's what we tend to think about females, right? They got far more attention to detail. Now, here's what's interesting about being unique. You know what's interesting about being unique is it doesn't even have to 100% be unique. It's just got to be unique in the marketplace, right? First one to tell the story wins. Let me give an example, right? There was, so Carlton Cold, that's a type of beer, right? And Carlton Cold by Carlton United Breweries came out and did this most amazing marketing campaign. They took every billboard in Australia, and basically they went out with this message that said Carlton Cold Beer was double hopped for a crisper taste. And they convinced everybody that they double hopped during their process, and what that meant was the beer was a crisper taste, right? Now, they went out and dominated with that message. But here's the irony. You can't single hop beer, right? You actually can't. So all they did was tell the story about what everybody was doing, but because they were first, nobody could come out afterwards and go, we do it as well, wouldn't have any cut through. So it doesn't have to necessarily be unique. It just needs to be a message that has cut through to the audience that nobody else is using, and then you can go out with that story and you'll get the cut through that you need. So if that's being a female, I think that's quite clever, because unless there is a female who's dominating on the back of being a female, then you could go and have that space.
Okay. All right then. That's good.
And then for example, like you could go more tactical and say, I've done 50,000 hours of architecture, and if that would be true, then maybe that's a marketing angle. Whatever. I mean, so here's the irony. If I was talking to somebody who was like 95 years old and been an architect since they were 15, I would probably use that as my angle, right? I would say, don't trust these new kids who know nothing. Go out there and, use somebody who's been going forever. However, if I was talking to a new kid, right, who's only been going for 1 year, I'd be saying to them, hey, your message needs to be, don't go with the old fogies, right, who used a pen and paper. You need technology because it's faster and better. So it would just be a case of playing to the strengths of whoever it is that I was talking to. In your case, if it's a female, I think that's clever. If there is something else in your history that you could pull on, studied under somebody, did some cutting edge technology training, whatever, then you could go with that and it would still work. But what you've got to find is you've got to find something that's commercial, meaning the market would resonate with it, and you've got to find something that is truly unique. And we're not trying to lie here, right? We're trying to tell the truth, but we can select which part of our uniqueness we go and market.
Yeah. Okay.
The problem is, in the absence of a uniqueness, you are one of 3,000. So it is worth you investing the time to nail this.
Yeah. Yeah, and in New South Wales, anyone can draw plans, and so not only am I against other architects, I'm against anyone who can essentially draw a line. So, but this one.
Yeah. So I would, when you come up with your uniqueness, find a way to storytell all around it, and then go in every single marketing piece you ever put out. You need to storytell that uniqueness and weave it back in so that you become top of mind for that uniqueness.